Plants, and therefore plant health, touch every aspect of our lives, all the way from food. Over 95% of the food we eat is plant-based, and the meat that we eat are fed on plants. We have all the managed and natural forests, we have woodlands and parks and all the plants in our gardens, and then we have the natural environment and the biodiversity within that. So if we have plants, then potentially we have problems with plant pests, and that's why the Plant Health Centre is playing such an important role. Scotland's Plant Health Centre is a virtual centre involving about 10 different organisations run by the James Hutton Institute, and it's a conduit by which Scottish Government, organisations and industry can get plant health information, so they can come to us with a particular request and we can then go and find the information they need and bring it back to them. And that can be useful for things like knowing how to deal with different pests and diseases on a farm, all the way through to government contingency planning for new pests and diseases coming into Scotland. A good example of a critical issue that the Plant Health Centre has been dealing with is one about an organism called potato cyst nematode, or PCN. So the nematode attacks the root system and it can actually greatly reduce yield. But more importantly, if you have potato cyst nematode in your soil, it means you can't plant seed potatoes. So it's right at the start of the potato production chain, and so it's really important that we deal with this problem as quickly as possible. Financially, it's already costing the industry about £25 million a year in lost seed production. It's predicted to increase in the next 20 years to 125 million, and there's even a possibility that in 30 years there won't be a seed industry left. Scotland's Plant Health Centre deals with a number of climate change issues. One thing that we're trying to do is to develop models that will better predict whether pests and diseases are going to cause problems in the future because of climate change. One example is an organism called Xylella fastidiosa, which is causing huge problems in Italy on olive trees at the moment, and that's a warmer climate pathogen. But it's very critical now that we make sure it doesn't come into Scotland. This organism can cause disease on many hundreds of different plants, things in the garden like lavender, all the way up to iconic oak trees, so it's really important that we keep it out. Society's changed a lot recently in terms of crop production, because formerly where we were looking for focusing on yield, and we were using chemicals to ensure that we got that yield, chemicals to control pests and diseases. Now we're looking at much more sustainable farming practices, which means that we have to find new ways to control these pests and diseases through methods like integrated pest management, better resistance in our crops, etc. So the Plant Health Centre has a very important role to play in that.